what your mama says. Christmas time is near. I don't care what your daddy says. Christmas time is near. All I know is that Santa's sleigh is making its way to the USA. What the newsman says, Christmas is full of cheese.
Good morning, CE Cole. It's Mr. Sola and Mrs. Kerr coming back at you for morning announcements. It is Thursday, December 10th. It is cycle day 1. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may all have your seats, and now let's send it over to Mr. Payne for our daily weather forecast and daily weather forecast.
Thanks, Mrs. Kerr, Mr. Sola. That was fantastic. Hey, CE Cole, welcome to Thursday. And did you see that snow yesterday? Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. This morning, you're waking up to temperatures in the low 30s and cloudy conditions, but I think that sun's going to start peeking out by around noon, and temperatures are going to warm up to be about 50 degrees. Then tonight, it's going back down to the low 30s. This question of the day comes from Carolyn Guzman from Miss Bagenstos' class. It says, Mr. Payne, what's snow made up of? How's it formed? Well, apropos question considering what we saw yesterday. And snow forms way up in our atmosphere, up by those stratus and altostratus clouds, which we saw yesterday. And if you remember from the previous day, we talked about as you climb up in the atmosphere, it begins to get colder and colder because there's less energy molecules to absorb that heat from the sun. So, all the way up in those clouds, those water molecules begin to form crystals. And they keep spinning and forming bigger and bigger crystals until they become heavy enough to float out of that cloud and down to our ground. And as they begin to float down, they even gather more water molecules on their way. Now, what you saw yesterday, as the day wore on, is that the snow was falling and some of it was turning into rain. It was melting as it was hitting the ground. And that's because our sun was out there warming our Earth's atmosphere, and as it fell, some of those snowflakes turned into raindrops. Great question. Back to you, Mr. Sola and Mrs. Kerr. C. Cole, have a great Thursday.
Thank you, Mr. Payne. I'm always very excited to hear what Mr. Sola says, but this is also the season of being very excited with all the holidays that are approaching. So I have 2 idioms for you that talk about being excited. The first is, if somebody says, I'm over the moon, then that means they're very excited to see what you're going to do. So when Mr. Sola starts his talking, I'm over the moon to hear it. When I say I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, it means I'm ready to hear it too. So Mr. Sola, I am on the edge of my seat.
All righty. Well, you should be, because it's an exciting day. December 10th is actually National Human Rights Day. So we're thinking about consideration for other people, and I always say to my classroom that we have a lot of different races in here, but we're all a member of the human race. So make sure that we treat each other with a little more respect on this Human Rights Day. It's something to just be a little more conscious of. It is also the 345th day of 2020, so only 21 more days to go of this year. Bringing on 2021. Hopefully we have a nice new fresh start. Tomorrow is the official first day of Hanukkah, so that's an 8-day celebration. It'll go from Friday to Friday night to Friday night again. And also a few birthdays for today. So we have Michael Clark Duncan. I don't know if you remember who he is. He's been in a bunch of movies. He's a big guy. He was in Green Mile. He was in Talladega Nights. Yeah. Okay, so Michael Clark Duncan's birthday. Raven Simone from That's So Raven, and from our childhood, she was on the Cosby Show, if anybody remembers that. Emily Dickinson, the famous author, it's her birthday as well. Bobby Flay, the famous chef, it's his birthday. Meg White, some of you might know, any of my rockers out there that know the White Stripes. Meg White is half of the band. It's her birthday as well. But the really cool thing about today that I thought was awesome is in 1901, the first Nobel Prizes were given. Okay, and I say prizes because there's multiple. They have, actually now they have 6 categories, but there were 5 at the time. There was a Nobel Prize for physics, for chemistry, for medicine, for literacy, and for peace. That's probably the most commonly known one. We talk about the Nobel Peace Prize. But then later they have added economics as a 6th category. But the really neat thing, and this ties into a couple days ago with Mr. K, he was talking about philanthropy and giving back and doing things for others and reaching in your pocket and giving a donation or whatever it may be. Well, the reason we do the Nobel Prizes is because of Alfred Nobel. He was a Swedish inventor who invented dynamite. Pretty cool. He invented dynamite and some other explosive contraptions and creations. But in his will, he wrote that he wants his fortune to be, and I quote, annually distributed in a form of prizes to those who, during the preceding year, shall have conferred the greatest benefit on mankind. So he made a huge fortune in his life. He could have left it to his family. He could have done a whole lot of things. But he decided that he wants a special prize given out in prizes and money to the people who benefit mankind the most that year in those different categories. So that's really neat. And you want to talk about the ultimate giving back. This man's been giving back from his grave. So that's pretty cool. That's really awesome. So something more to think about. Think about giving back, what you can do. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be something extravagant. It can be as simple as holding a door for somebody, saying please and thank you. Those kinds of things. So think about the means that you have, what you can do to give back, and try your best. Remember, treat people the way you want to be treated. Hope you have a great day today, guys. Keep that attitude up. Attitude is everything. Get ready to learn. Have a good day.